Greetings. Welcome back into Wenzel's world. Good to have you along today. Well, of course, you can tell I'm out here at the river. Thought I'd come out here and make a video today. Let the grass dry up some before we start trying to mow it down again for another week. And I've got my Peterson pipe here, rusticated bowl and a P-lip system pipe army mount. And the particular blend I got here today is this right here. The sun's shining on this camera, and hope you appreciate it. The view back behind me, but I couldn't tell real good whether you saw it or not. Anyway, this is tobacco from Milan Tobacconist, which is located in Roanoke, Virginia. And this particular blend I ordered, I don't know, 6 or 7 blends from them. And this particular blend, out of a number from 0 to 5, I've given this in here a number 4. So of all of them I've tried so far, and some of them I've used more than once, but the majority only one time. This is the highest ranking one that I've given. This is giving this one a number 4, and it said on the description about it that it was white burley. So anyway, got a good taste to it, good flavor, good aroma in the bag. So I don't know if you ever done any dealing with Milan Tobacconist or not, but I called there and asked what they had, and I was really looking for something other that had some a house blend that had some dark fired Kentucky in it. But anyway, I chose, like I say, this one and some more. And so out of the ones that I chose, I like this one the most. So how you doing today? Hope all is well on your end. You know, I've been thinking about something for the last 3 days or so. And the question I have for you is, what is a man? Ever think much about it? Got some type of a definition? You might say, well, man, he's male. And so, well, so far, so good. Yeah. Although there are those, that seem to have problems with that in our day and time. They're born a male, but they don't want to think they don't want to stay a male. And some of them so young, they really, they don't really know what they want. So, And when you start saying then, well, what is a man? Well, what is a man? Is he just a male? And you might say this too and ask this question: what goes into making a man? Okay, now that is going to take a little bit different twist on it there then, isn't it? What goes into making a man? And somebody might say, well, a boy's got to grow up to be an adult, to be a man. Okay, yeah. You still thinking down on a little bit lower level than where I want to take you. And I tell you something else, you might ask yourself this: what goes into the making of a man? And that's about where I want to stop at and dwell on. And the first thing you got to think about is life. And I don't mean breath and heartbeat. I'm talking about life's challenges, life's blessings, going uphill as well as going downhill. If we coasted all the time and everything was on easy street, then you wouldn't have as strong of a man as you would if somebody had to be a climber. So life is up and down. It's much like a roller coaster ride, isn't it? It's got its ups, got its downs, and you take the good and you take the bad. You want good and you want easy street, but uh, life is not easy street, is it? So what is a man? Well, things that go into the making of a man, as I made mention, is life. The hardships and the good times and the floating on top of the water, as well as swimming against the current. I'm going to tell you, not all life is easy. And for those with physical challenges, especially if they develop those physical challenges later on in life and they know the differences between having everything that works, as we say the human body works, and then having some tragedy to strike, and then you had to start learning to live with life differently. That's hard. It's not easy. But as one of the old sayings goes, not much of a hill for a climber. So what goes into making a man is life. They build you. They build character. I've heard it said before that a man's word is his bond. I've heard it said before, and it still is in some ways, that a man's handshake is as good as having a lawyer's signature on it and a written document. And I'm going to tell you something, that's the way it ought to be. If you make a commitment to take on a job and you tell the customer you're going to be there on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m., you ought to be there. And if you can't make it, you ought to call the customer and let them know why you can't be on time or why you can't make it on that day. That's being a man, is it not? Making commitments and keeping them, like marriage. And I'm going to tell you something, marriage is working together. And I say this too, marriage has got its compromises to it. Whenever two people make a commitment to each other, a man and a woman make vows to each other till death do they part, they two shall be one flesh. And you've got to learn to live together and work together and take the lumps. I mean, when children come along and she's not well and you had to do some cooking or clean up some messes or do some housework and some laundry along with making a living, that's not all easy, but it is all necessary. And it goes into making a man. I've heard it said that a man is somebody you can ride the river with. The making of a man is a process. And since it's a process, when does it stop? Does it stop? I mean, if a man's going a certain way and he's climbing the mountain and he's building character, then something happens where he falls. And everything that he's built is destroyed. His name is destroyed. His, people don't have confidence in him. Then that process, in one way, has stopped. That's not to say that the process cannot proceed again, because it can. It may take moving out of the area. And if you stay in the area, it's going to take time to get your name built up again. So, in that vein of thought, then what goes into the making of a man then is a process. The rising, the falling, the getting back up, going at it again, gritting your teeth and staying with it, sticking by the stuff, holding the line. A man's not what he wears or where he works necessarily, or how he even thinks about himself or wishes he could be, but it's what he is. And if he's not satisfied with what he is, change it. I went to the health food store, my wife and myself, last Thursday. The lady that managed the health food store, she said, "It's always good to see you two come in." And then she said, "You dress so good." And I had on a clean pair of boots and a clean pair of breeches and a clean shirt and my dress hat. And she said something about that, and I said, well, when I go to town, I don't wear what I wear to bed. I don't wear pajamas. Pajamas are made to sleep in. They're not made to go to town in. Process of making a man doesn't involve laziness, although that's not to say that you don't need to rest. You do need to rest. You probably need about 6 to 8 hours of it every night, unless you work of night. You got to sleep sometime or another. That's a good time to rest. And I'll tell you something else too. Sitting here making these videos is not laziness. I'm I'm doing this because the rest of the day I'm going to spend trying to mow grass and use the grass trimmer. By the time I feel shot and can't go no more, it ain't going to be far off then till it's going to be, well, it'll be time to shower and groom a little bit and and turn in for the night and get up tomorrow and do it all over again. There's things I got to do tomorrow and the next day. And life goes on that way. Life is not easy street. Not a big hayride, hallelujah hayride on the way to heaven. Life's got its bumps. But a man who is becoming a man takes these challenges, and in the process of becoming a man, which is an ongoing process, and you might think, well, I'm 80 something years old, so there's not much more of a making of a man. Well, maintain what you got. Having done all to stand, stand. Don't give up any ground. Stand. Be characteristic. Be a man. Well, I'm going to sit here and enjoy this blend a little bit longer and look around at the river. Might see a deer or heron, or probably won't. Unless, well, one could come flying by, or a duck, or something like that. Might see a fish come up other than these little minnows. So, until we meet again, chew on these things. Selah. You know what that means? Till we meet again, adios.